Hello friends, I am Dr. Suchita Vishwakarma, Assistant Professor, Department of Management, School of Management Sciences, Lucknow. Welcome you all to the series of lectures on supply chain and logistics management. And I am sure all of you are keeping safe and healthy at your places. Students, by now we have discussed a lot of things about the complete supply chain process. We have discussed the various aspects related to supply chain management, the various functions, the roles of different intermediaries, the transportation, warehouse. We have also studied what is supply chain, how networking is done, and in the previous class we had also discussed about global supply chain. We had also discussed that what is globalization and how supply chain is getting impacted by globalization, and what led to the emergence of global supply chain. Now, if you realize, students, that across, all around us, we see many companies, many popular brands, maybe starting from your mobile, laptops, to the daily things that you see. There are a lot of organizations which are present globally, be it, let's say, Apple, Lenovo, HP, or talking about any other, apparels, or any other organization, or in food industry, for example McDonald's, KFC, and all such kind of things, or Nike, or Adidas, or Woodland. All these are globally present. Now, since we had discussed in our previous classes that the reason of companies going global was not only to increase their market share, or not only to increase their profitability, but was also due for various reasons, like leveraging on the factors, leveraging on the resources which are in other countries, or leveraging on the cost factor, or leveraging on the innovations or the technology which is available in other country. So, we clearly know that global supply chain is actually helping the organizations in lot many ways. But since we have been discussing supply chain also in detail, and probably by now you have understood that supply chain is a long process where lot of communication, lot of continuous contact and collaboration and integration is linked with all the peoples, or between all the activities. So, when actually organization are covering a wider area, and that also in terms of global areas, then obviously the challenges and the problems and the risk also increases substantially. So, over here in today's lecture, this is what we are going to understand, that what are the challenges that any organization which plans to go or rather enter into global supply chain faces, and how they can be solved. So, as in this picture, students, you can see that I have in this picture I have shown many countries on a flat platform, which, and all these countries are can be seen to have linkages with each other, which basically shows that these countries are communicating and coordinating and having contacts with other countries in terms of resources. They are providing supplies to other countries, they are taking certain services from other countries, they are transporting goods and goods to other countries, maybe for offering it to the final customer, or maybe they have intermediaries in other parts of the country. So, this is basically global supply chain, and when you can, from the picture itself, you can understand that coordinating at such a large scale is not at all an easy task. So, let us understand uh, the challenges in more detail, but before going to challenges, let us also recapitulate once again on the global supply chain concept. So, global supply chain management focuses on global business, and it applies on firms who are increasingly focusing on both domestic and global market. That means the company which are into global supply chain does not actually mean that they would not be catering to the needs and requirements of their domestic market. They would obviously do so, and simultaneously would also serve the fulfill the requirements of other countries as well. So, global supply chain is a mode of is made up of interrelated organizations, resources and people that create and deliver products and services to end customers by operating beyond the boundaries of nation. This is something that we have been discussing in the previous class also, and I had explained to you in the beginning of this particular today's lecture as well. Now, coming straight to the various kinds of challenges. So, I have categorized the challenges into various sections. So, let us talk about the challenges due to cost. So, students, we have been talking a lot about cost reduction, and please do remember that cost is something very important in any organization, in any kind of organization which is obviously, I mean, working or trying to provide any kind of offering to the customer, because when they are cost competitive, when they are able to produce it in a lesser cost, then only they would be able to attract more of customers, then only they will be able to offer their products to a larger market. So, this plays a very important role. Cost is something very important that every supply chain student must not forget. So, let us talk about the various factors, various challenges in the cost only. So, the first challenge that comes in the cost is that rising price of fuel. So, rising price of fuel basically means it basically means that since the companies are expected to send their goods to other part of the countries or other countries as well, so there is lot of transportation required, and when they are transporting, obviously I mean road transportation may not only serve the purpose, so they are required to transport through railways or airways also, and so the increasing price of the fuel that is required in these kind of mode of transportation would add up to the cost, to the total cost of the supply chain. So, this is something which needs to be controlled. Then the second is increasing commodity price, raising the cost of raw material. The company would obviously require different kinds of raw material to produce the good. The cost of the raw material may not remain same for all the kind of may not remain same. So, the fluctuations in the price of raw material may also lead to, and if any particular company is not producing in advance, and if they are producing only on I mean they are following the concept of manufacture to order, so in that particular case the company may face problems or challenges in terms of the fluctuation in price at that particular point of time. So, this would also lead to increase of cost of supply chain. Now, the third is higher labor cost from supplier and manufacturer. A lot of people are required for the purpose of transportation, for the purpose of movement, for the purpose of security, and whenever any organization is working across the borders, that means I may have different set of labor charges at my country, but may have another set of rules, regulations, and another set of compensation structure for laborers in another country. So, all of them will obviously add to the total cost of supply chain. Coming to the next point, that is complex international logistics leading to higher charges for storage, transfer and movement of products. Since the companies are transporting their products at a long distance, that means one country may be quite distantly apart from the other country, and there is a requirement of sending the products to multiple locations, multiple countries, then obviously a lot of warehouses, lot of transportation is required, and lot of interlinkages between all of them are required, not only in terms of communication, but also in terms of storage and everything. So, a complex international logistics will be required. That means the people who would be managing the international logistics must be sufficiently trained and expert, and obviously when you are hiring expert trained professionals to handle this complex international logistics, that would also lead to increase in the cost throughout the supply chain. Moving ahead to the challenges due to channel. So, what we mean by channel? Channel basically means the intermediaries who are participating in the supply chain. So, intermediaries could be a distributor, a retailer, or anyone else. or the channel could be sometimes people who are also helping us, the agents or the brokers who are helping us to get certain kind of supplies from any particular kind of country. So, there are a lot of challenges related to that also, because these channel partners are one who helps us procure the goods also, procure the raw materials also, and helps in proper distribution of the finished good to the end customer also. So, the challenges in this area are that e-commerce websites selling directly to consumers require fast last mile delivery and local logistics. Now, what is the meaning of last mile delivery? You need to understand this first. Last mile delivery does actually mean that the last part of any transportation which is used for transporting the or moving the final good from the last destination to the end term customer. That means, if for example there is a company A, for example there is a company A which is manufacturing a particular product, that means this is a manufacturer, and they are sending it to distributor. Distributor is then sending the good to retailer, and the retailer is then required to move that particular good to the customer. So, that means the last journey which is happening, that this is the last mile, which is usually a short distance travelled from the either the retailer or maybe the last stop. It could be a warehouse stop or a cross docking center from which the customer would be directly receiving the particular product. So, over here you need to understand that usually companies have supply chain process, and this supply chain is usually managed by the company, and in this they are doing a lot of planning in order to keep up the pace and maintain the space, and to improve the efficiency. But many of the companies unconsciously ignore the transportation from the last stop to the customer, and that may lead to dumping of the particular packet or particular commodity at a local warehouse, the local warehouse for the customer, and that may lead to delayed or damaged receipt of the commodity to the customer, and that may lead to dissatisfaction. So, companies must also give lot of weightage to the concept of last mile delivery and local logistics as well. Then coming to the third party marketplace like Amazon requires a deep understanding of regional preferences and culture. Since these global companies are operating into multiple countries, and these multiple countries may have different kind of cultural preferences, language barriers, and such kind of language differences, and so the company may have to face lot of challenges in these terms, and there may be a lot of confusion or complexity may arise due to this, and so the companies are required to have a proper understanding of the regional preferences. Now, the third point, that is the drop shopping retail requires fast international services so that the customers receive good products at a quicker pace. That means even the retailing organizations, for example Walmart, for example even Dell stores, Apple stores, all of them require, the retail stores do require fast shipment of products, because whenever, say for example, a new product has come and there is a lot of promotional campaign that is happening by the company. So, obviously that there may be lead to a sudden increase in the demand of for a particular product. So, so the company, before launching of the promotional campaigns or informing about the particular product to the company, must also start the movement of goods from the point of production to point of consumption, for so that they do not miss out or have a out of stock situations. Then fast changing market, since the market is very I mean the macro factors of the environment are very dynamic, and even the micro factors are also dynamic, and there is a lot of dynamicity in the change and preferences of the customer, and there in case of technological products also that the preferences may shift from an older product which may get obsolete and to a newer product. So, the company must understand the fast changing preferences of the customer and should be responsive enough, should be agile enough to to find out the solutions to meet this changing preferences. So, this also leads to lot of challenges, lots of loss also at times, and lot of risk bearing capacity. Now, coming to challenges due to customer. Challenges due to customer are basically that what is the kind of expectation that the customer is having, and if the company is not able to understand properly the expectations of the customer, then probably there will be a gap which may lead to loss of customer, loss of profit, and loss of sales. So, let us understand in this what are the various challenges. So, the first challenge in this area is that customers want retail goods immediately and online goods within a few days. Now, with coming of e-commerce channel and with I mean lot of technological advancement, the customers have become very aware, and we all have started valuing time a lot. So, it is something that all the customers want the shortest and want the commodity in the shortest time period possible. None of us are ready to spare or give the retailer or the producer time of 10, 15 or 20 days to ship the product. So, this is something very important, that how the companies are going to manage the delivery of product from the point of production to point of consumption. And when we are doing online shopping or any kind of thing, we are actually not considering the fact that the country of the country which is producing the good is quite distantly apart and would take a lot of time. We are in that perspective, we are slightly selfish also at times, that we are only self-centric and we want the product to be delivered in the shortest span of time. Then the second challenge is that the product must meet the quality requirements of the demand by the customer. I mean, over here you need to understand that no two customers have similar kind of demand. I mean, for example, if I want a mobile, I may have different set of expectations, and if my friend wants a mobile, she or he may have a different set of expectations. Now, every kind of customer, I mean every customer is different in the kind of expectations that we have. Now, in case of non-standardized products, it become very difficult to satisfy the needs and the expectations of each kind of customer, and this also becomes a big challenge in case of companies which are offering customized products. The third challenge being the compliance of regulations which are mandated by all the countries. There are different set of rules and regulations also by countries which needs to be completely adhered by. There are I mean for one country there may be a certain kind of material which may be allowed to be a part of the finished product, but for another country that particular raw material could be something which is not very allowed or prohibited or banned. So, a company must adhere to all the rules and regulations, but must follow the follow that what is allowed in particular country. So, what is that can be included in the production for offering the product in the particular country. Then coming to the environmental sourcing of goods is becoming very important, and is something which is very much known to the ethically aware consumers also. So, consumers are also nowadays preferring those products only which are environmental friendly, and that is also leading lot of challenges to the suppliers, because suppliers and producers, because it may not be feasibly very possible in terms of cost or in terms of availability of product, that they are able to adhere to all the environmental restrictions or environmental rules regulations while the complete supply chain process. Coming to the next challenge, that is the challenge due to process. Since supply chain is a process and it is a long process, so lot of hurdles may come in this process also. So, the first challenge over here is that supplier, manufacturer, logistics, client and customers are spread across multiple countries which have different time zones, and these are these require careful coordination and management. We all know that each country has different time zones. All of them are all of the country do not only adhere to the international time standards, but also have their local domestic standards of time also. So, I mean, the time when I am doing my or my I mean working hours may be different, and so my working hours will be different, and the other country the partner country's company may have different time zone, and that may lead to a lot of confusions, because if I need to coordinate with someone who is with in the other country which is having different time zone, then the coordination may be a complex task. So, over here complexity arises among all the different partners of the supply chain. Now, the next being that adding more steps to supply chain obviously adds exponentially the complexity in the process. So, any organization which is entering into global supply chain must decide beforehand only that what are the different processes, what are the different organizations, and how many people or intermediaries are required. Now, when I am talking about intermediaries, I do not actually mean about the suppliers or the middlemen who are facilitating in distribution, but I am talking about all the nodes rather. That means the manufacturer, the supplier, how many suppliers. So, adding up of each one of them will lead to increase of complexity. So, organization in case of organizations which are focusing on global supply chain must focus that they should have lesser number of partners, so that the coordination and communication becomes easy and simple. Then the next challenge is that soil data and lack of visibility increases the difficulty of reporting business intelligence and good decision making, because every country has their own set of standards of recording the informations. They may not be very transparent also. Certain countries are not very transparent in sharing information, and that may lead to loss of forecasting, difficulty in forecasting, difficulty in taking good decisions or predicting the demand as well. And so, these are the various aspects that needs to be taken care of. Then the other challenge in related to process is that regulations, compliance and quality management demands strong agreement, contract and controls with supply chain. Over here we need to understand that in different processes, different kinds of regulation standards are given by the government, and these needs to be completely adhered by. Lot of contracting, outsourcing kind of things are also done by companies. So, they need to understand the languages of agreement, because there are different set of languages which are which are adopted in different countries for a similar kind of agreement. So, one has to have a lot of understanding, deep understanding of the rules, regulations, which may lead to a good partnership between all the companies and smooth running of all the processes. Now, coming to the other challenges. The other challenges are basically the currency fluctuations, since the countries since many of the countries are involved in this global supply chain. So, currency is something which is very volatile. That means since all the countries may have different currencies, and the exchange values of each of them may be different on a daily basis. So, that may lead to difference in the profit or difference in the price of the particular supply chain, also cost of supply chain also. Then maintaining intellectual property protection. Intellectual property is basically an intangible property created by human beings. It could be in the form of copyright, patent, trademarks, or anything like such. So, maintaining intellectual property basically means that any company who is sharing a technology with the other partner or maybe sharing the name with the other partner must ensure that the intellectual property is used and shared only for a legal purpose and only between the two parties for the particular contract and not being misused. So, this is one area which creates a lot of challenge, because there are unethical practices also followed in this perspective, which should not be done. Then the next is identifying and ensuring reliability, accountability and compliance. When any organization is working within the domestic boundaries, we know that what are the kind of rules and regulations within the domestic boundary, and we know that whom can be made liable for what kind of purposes. But when we are doing business in many countries simultaneously, then obviously we need to be sure that what are the rules regulations related to financial compliance, business compliance, business accountability, for example transportation. So, if I am moving the good from transporting the good from point A to point B, and the 2 points are obviously in different countries, then who should be held responsible for paying the insurance, who should be held responsible for clearing the customs duty and all such kind of things. So, a clear understanding and clear written description of all these things needs to be made, so that both of the parties do not face any challenges in future. Then assessing finance and insurance. Obviously, when any company is doing a global supply, is into a global supply chain, they need to reduce their risk by having proper insurances done for all their products and the complete shipment. Now, it is also at this point important to understand that which particular insurance company or which particular kind of plan will be able to protect the particular commodity shipment, or the cover the products in the entire supply chain. So, this is very important. Moreover, the kind of insurance that I have would also help me to assess finances from the bank or any other financing body, because only when any financing organization knows that yes, the products and the processes and everything has been properly protected and risk has been managed, then only they are providing the finances. So, this is also something very, very important, and these two are intercorrelated to each other. Then compliance with international regulations and standards. As we had already discussed, every country has different set of rules, regulations and standards. So, we must take care of all the rules, regulations, because if the rules, regulations will be will not be met, then the other country may stop the international trade, and that may lead to disruption in global supply chain process. Then the language barrier. As we had already discussed also, that language plays a lot of role in communication. Every country has their own set of codes, own set of rules, regulations and own set of standards for communication. So, understanding of each other's language, each other's etiquettes in terms of language is very, very important, because proper communication has to be done in order for smooth running of global supply chain. As we had also discussed about the time zones, the differences in the time zones also play a very, very important role. Qualified personnel. This is very important, as in the complete supply chain, if the entire processes, or rather all the processes, are managed and handled by trained people and expert people, then the chances of damage, proliferage, not able to manage the coordination or complexity will be handled. So, hiring of qualified personnel is very, very much required, and it may not be easy task for any company to recruit or select qualified personnel in every other country. So, lot of expertise is required, because at certain country there may be certain other kind of restrictions and other kind of compensation structures which may lead to not getting proper good quality of personnel for doing the particular task. So, for more details you can go through these books for a better understanding, and thank you.